national 450 champion. Have you got that sinking in yet? How's that feel, Eli?
It's sinking in. It really sinks in just when you think back from the beginning, and when you're 5 or 6 years old and you're watching guys on TV, and it all literally is a dream. So, and to be here and now to be on this trophy, and you look at those names, it's pretty unbelievable, and it's gonna take a little more sinking in to do, but man, it feels like it's been a long time coming.
Moto number 1, you decided to lay it on the line. Take us through a little bit about how that was.
Moto 1, I honestly think my ego got the best of me. I was right behind Jeffrey there, and he made a little bobble when I was behind him, and he even looked over at me a little bit, and I was like, all right, game on, and went to go on the outside on the triple there, and there was an option. The main line was a double single, but went outside for a triple and kind of flew off the track and wadded it up, bit my clutch lever down, and luckily everything else was straight. But I was like, man, I was in a really good position to seal it, and didn't do it, and gave those guys another shot for Moto 2, and wasn't a happy camper going back to the truck afterwards there.
Then in Moto 2, you get out there, and where obviously all eyes are on you, and you definitely didn't probably get the type of start you wanted. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, a little bit of a wheelie on the start there, and then just kind of, I don't know where we came out, but it was definitely farther back than that I wanted. So, but it was good enough to get it done, and was able to go forward, and just kind of just mail her, and I wasn't gonna do anything crazy that one.
You actually got a hole shot. That was your first hole shot at the year. I mean, you've been up front at some of them. That was your first actual hole shot, though. What was that like?
Yeah. I was ready and spun up and fired up for that first moto. I think that was just, when it was go time, I had to get it done, and, we went out there and did it. So it was a breath of fresh air, and then, I had Jeffrey pass me in the third turn. I was like, man. But that was cool to get that whole shot.
He was fast even in practice. I'm sure you guys look at the qualifying time. So was that something you were already thinking about the whole time when you come in, and I think it was 2 seconds in the second session? So was it something you were already thinking about, or did it happen when you were behind in that first moto when you started thinking, I want to race this?
Obviously it's always a funky situation because, what I need to do, obviously next time is just think only big picture. And the first moto, I didn't do that. So that was a pretty dork crash by me for the position I was in and what was on the table. But going back to him, man, the guy's fast.
Your background here, I mean, we all know that your parents had great success, your dad had great success, but in a little bit different sport. And I don't know if you ever asked, why is it bike racing that you pursued? Why not become a bicycle racer? What was it about this sport that made you want to come to this level here?
Yeah, to be honest, I have no idea. When you think back 20 years, that's a long time. I could easily gone down the bicycle path if I wanted to, or something else, but I must have enjoyed motocross and still do, So yeah, I was just a dirt bike guy.
The last couple rounds, until that second moto win at Budds Creek, were not going your way. You kind of said last week you were maybe riding a little defensive. Was the pressure of trying to finally get this, was that getting you a little bit?
Unadilla, I would say, yeah. I was thinking about it a little too much, and Marv had a lot of momentum going. So that's a situation we'll try to learn from. Once again, even at Budds Creek, I had to get myself in gear again after that first moto. I was like, man, I got to make something happen, and we did. And, took that mindset even into this first moto, and we ripped that whole shot. So, it's just things you'll hopefully carry on and take into that next season.
Yeah, now that you've finally got it out of the way, how much easier is it going to be next season, Supercross indoors out?
I mean, I don't know if it's it's not going to be really easier, but maybe easier mentally, you know, because you finally have done it. So I don't know. Everyone always elevates and steps up the game, so you gotta be there for that next season.
You've been pretty heavily criticized over the last month and a half, both for the Motocross the Nation stuff and losing a bunch of points to Muscan. What does it feel like to kind of put all those doubters like to rest, knowing that you can close the championship now? That question's probably not going to be asked anymore.
I mean, it won't be asked anymore because we got it done, so that's all we can do. Yeah.
Eli, can you talk a minute about how's this compared to your other championships? I know you have a 250 Supercross and was it the 2013 250 Outdoors? Can you kind of describe how it fits in with those?
Well, this is the premier class, so it's number one by far, and we had to overcome a couple of situations we didn't want to be in, and we were able to just to grind through it and be the best guy at the end of the day. So yeah, it's by far the best one.
Can you maybe talk? I think it's been said you're going to race the USGP. Then after that, what do you have going on? Will you be able to take some time off and stuff before getting ready for Supercross?
Yeah, that's all it is really, is taking a little bit of time off, and you only get so much of it. So by the time you want to get ready for a Monster Cup event, and then for the next year's Supercross, you got to have some fuel in the tank to go again next year.
How do you celebrate this kind of thing? Last year's champ came up with a Coors Light in the press conference. That's his style, maybe not as much yours. How much do you enjoy this? I feel like we don't get to see the happy Eli Tomac like other guys are all flamboyant. How do you celebrate it?
I'm not a super flamboyant guy, so at home I'm probably a different guy, but I don't know. I've never been the public crazy guy.
Would you go celebrate?
Oh yeah.
Eli, now that the season's over, 24 motos out of 24 motos, looking back on from day one, could you kind of summarize the season in general as far as how gnarly and how big of a grind it actually was?
I think the last half of the season really put us to the test, because I feel like up until Southwick, we were for sure the dominant one, and then after that, it put us to the test where there were motos where Marvin or Blake were better than us, and we weren't the best guy on those days. So, but at the end of the day and end of the season, we were able to close it out. So just, I don't know, just the test at the end of the season was what really, really made this special.
Eli, nicely done on the burnout, first off. When it's a rubber surface up there, that I don't know how.
I was afraid it was going to hook up, maybe.
The other one was lining up for the first moto when you've got a KTM on either side. Was there any nervous moment there?
I mean, there was the thought there. There was two orange bikes next to us, but if anything, it gave me motivation to get out of there and go. And we got the whole shot.
Going back to my previous question, on those days whenever you were struggling and it was, gnarly and intense, how did you stay motivated and not get dejected, not get down on yourself? Like, what did you go through mentally to just keep grinding and look at the big picture?
Well, it's, we've been doing this so many years, so you just try to stay level-headed. But I mean, I'm a human. I'll get fired up if I don't perform well. So I don't know. It just, you take experience from the years past, and you try to minimize those days where you get a 10th, or a 5th, So you try not to have those days be 20ths or 15ths.
Any other questions for the champ? Final question then. Obviously, next week as you head to Florida, it's not chasing a championship. You're not in a series. You're just coming down there with kind of like, just to go down there and have some fun. What's your prediction for that event?
I'm excited to race everyone. It's literally a level playing field for everyone with a brand new track. that no one's really ridden or seen. So, man, I'm excited for it, really.
Well, folks, we're excited to watch as well. How about a nice round of applause for our 2017 450 national champ?